Cruel Treatment of a Boy by Brutish Men by S.C. Turnbo. One day in Civil War times, said Mrs. Elizabeth Clark, while I was living on Little Norfolk above the mouth of Little Creek, I and Jane Haskins, while out on foot hunting for a horse, we met 6 men and a boy who were stragglers from Price's army, who had just made his raid into Missouri, October 1864. They were all afoot and bareheaded, and one man and a boy was barefooted, and the shoes of the other men were nearly worn out. Their clothes were ragged and hung in tatters. We met them on the hill between Little Creek and the North Fork, and they said that they were trying to make their way south. The boy was carrying a sack which was partially full with ears of corn. 5 of the men were walking in front of the boy, and one was walking behind him with a club in his hand, and when the boy was evidently very tired and would lag a little, the man with the club would hit him on the back or shoulder, driving like a beast. The blow from the stick in the hands of the man would cause the helpless boy to go a little faster. The child never said a word against this cruel treatment, and he was simply driven along by the brutish men, and he seemed to be afraid to say anything. I felt interested in the way he was treated, and I asked the men about him. They claimed that he was a widow's son, and that he had been with Price's army on the raid, and that he wanted to go back home. But they intended to make him go south with them. We learned afterward that this same party had stopped at the Bob Gilliland farm on Little North Fork, and Granny Haskins had offered to give the boy food when the men would not allow it. The old lady was determined and would not be outdone, and gave him some milk to drink in spite of all their threats to prevent it. I learned after the close of the war that the boy was murdered by these men in the hills of northern Arkansas, but it was not confirmed.